And that is a great injustice to our people. Couple that with the genocide that's going on, couple that with the inequity that's going on. And did you know, I mean, some of you that have heard me speak before know this, but did you know that you were living in apartheid that's worse than what South Africa had? Did you know that? A lot of people said, well, how is that possible? Well, let me explain it to you. Apartheid is a situation where a minority group now corrals the power, resources, right? And they pretty much do what they want to do. And if you recall in South Africa, where the Boers had apartheid going on, when they tried to get their freedom, there was a lot of people that ended up being killed, okay? So how is Nigeria an apartheid nation? Let me explain it to you real quick. The way that the legislators, the number is set in a specific manner. And that is where you hear the Northern elders would say, oh, we are now ready for restructuring, but we will not give up the presidency. How can they be so sure? Because they know how things are set up. That's apartheid. What about the division of the revenue in the country? Do you know what it says in the Constitution? Like I said, some of you that have heard me speak before, you know this already. But if you look in the Federation Account section in the Constitution, which is the area where it talks about how revenues are going to be divided, you will find 3 factors that are being used. One is local government areas. Have any of you taken the time to count in the far north how many local government areas are there compared to the middle belt, compared to the south? Have you taken the time to do that? Well, we took the time. Let's just use one example because we know what these numbers are, but we're going to use one example for you, right? So think about this. Lagos and Kano State both started with 20 local government areas back in the day. Today, Kano State has 44. So more than twice the number that Lagos has, right? But wait, Kano State got divided into 2, Kano State and Jigawa State. So now Kano has 44, Jigawa State has 27. You combine them, is 71. So now the old Kano State has 3.5 times more opportunity to get revenue than Lagos State, if you use that criteria. What about the second criteria? Land size. Have you looked at the map of Nigeria? Have you seen the map of Nigeria? Do you need to measure who has more land size? Not at all. It's crystal clear what that's meant to do. So now you have the local government areas that has been skewed in a particular manner. You have a factor like land size, which really doesn't mean anything to human beings, really, right? When it comes to the number of people and, you know, the owners of the resources, you know, except that in this case, it's really large up there. And in the South, it's really small. Are you getting me now? You seen that process? And then the next thing is population. How many of you believe that the population in Nigeria is actually calculated correctly? There was something that happened, I think it was a month ago, right? Where someone from the Fulani descent was talking about how there was 171. Okay, his math was wrong. He was actually trying to get to 161 million. And he was saying that there is 161 million of the northerners, far northerners, which by the way, are indigenous to Nigeria and not part of the problem we have in Nigeria, not all of them at any rate. And in that 161, they said that 50 million Fulanese. Do you guys remember seeing any 50 million Fulanese in Nigeria? Well, we have them influxing, but 50 million. So out of 211 million, they're telling you that the middle belt to the south only has 40 million. See how those numbers work? So they're using 3 factors. And when you follow those 3 factors, welcome Eugene, who's going to be our next speakers, you see the apartheid was talking about. What about this? What about this? Federal character. Have you guys seen federal character exhibited anywhere in the revenue generating or even in any of the areas in Nigeria? Have you seen federal character? Well, don't even bother to try to enforce that, because the Constitution says it's not enforceable. What about your benefits as citizens? You know, the whole point about being in a country and having a constitution is that that constitution guarantees you some rights and benefits, right? Good roads, good schools, justice, so and so. Chapter 2 of the Constitution, lovely benefits. Just lovely benefits. Not so fast. Chapter 1, Section 6, subsection 6C says the court cannot hear your case if your benefit is not provided to you. What does that mean? You have no benefits? Well, it means that you're at the mercy of whoever, the governor, the lawmakers that have been charged with giving you your benefits, but you can't enforce it. You get whatever they please to give you, right? Did you know that? And this is the kicker. In the preamble, that's at the beginning of the Constitution, it said, we the people, we made this Constitution. And when I looked at that and I saw all of this stuff, especially the one where I'm giving up my benefits and I'm saying that it's okay for them not to provide it, I'm not stupid. Our parents are not stupid. Let's think about this carefully. Look around you, anywhere in the world. Where are indigenous Nigerians? At the top of the food chain. Whether it's America, Europe, Asia, we are top of the food chain because what? Our intellectual horsepower. But we decided that we didn't need benefits. Oh, other people can eat it. We decided that, you know what, the money that's coming from the assets that we have, we really don't need it. Other people can have it. And on top of that, did you guys see that? Is it the PIA bill about the pipelines, right? On top of the Federation accounts, now you have those pipelines that's taking the oil away from the people that own it. Notice there are no refineries that are working in the South, right? Have you seen any working refineries? A single one? No. But those now they diverting your asset up north, and now they're going to be getting more money. I think that they say it's for exploration, that they say it's for having the pipeline going, and yet the people that their environment is being destroyed don't have enough money to clean it up, right? That's apartheid. Okay, so like I said, we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about. The historic NINAS, a Middleman Freedom March that is coming up. And we're going to be talking about what does that really mean to you? What can you do to turn things around? Okay, so we're going to start. I just started by kind of talking a little bit about, Nigeria, because this is information that you're going to need when you come out to the rally. This is information that you're going to need because you're going to be able to talk to people and actually let them know what's going on. So please provide us with your information so that we can link you onto the platforms. You can go to the website, because this is information that you need to know. Just really quick summary information that you can provide to people, okay? So we are going to be talking about what can you do from wherever you are to help make this a success, okay? And first of all, I am going to be bringing up evangelist Joseph Ige, who's been doing a lot of work in planning for this. And he is going to be talking to us about, if you are in the New York and surrounding areas, And also, if you are resident in the US, what can you do? Welcome, Evangelist, and thank you again for being with us, and thank you for all the work that you're doing towards preparing for this and getting people to know about it and be part of it. You are welcome.
I thank you very much, Jean, our NINAS leadership in the United States of America. And I thank everyone present here on this special broadcast concerning our 1 million man freedom march at the United Nations, New York. We call it the Big Apple. Do I have a timeline period, Jean, or I can just, because I can go on and on and on and on. You're muted. You muted, Jean. Do I have a time frame?
Sorry, Evangelist, we're having to do some technical things. What were you saying?
I'm sorry. Do I have a time frame for my speech, or I can
yeah, usually we try to keep it to like 5 minutes since I talk too much.
I'll try my best. I'll try my best. Okay.
5 to 8 minutes is good.
So I just want to.
We have I know you have a lot of information to unpack.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
5 to 8 minutes.
20 minutes will not suffice, but hey, I'll keep it short and secret. So I'll join NINAS leadership, just to quickly welcome everyone. And I want to thank you for joining this NINAS weekly broadcast, where we share valuable information in language that everyone can understand. As much as NINAS continues to activate people's power. And as you have been probably seen in the news, the Nigerian government has reacted to the fact that NINAS is bringing out the people of the Alliance territory from the Middle Belt to the South to the United Nations office to let the world know what is going on and what is needed to change things around in Nigeria. So we specifically call this event the NINAS 1 million man freedom march. NINAS 1 million man freedom march mega rally. And I repeat, it's going to take place in front of United Nations headquarters in New York, the city that answers its name twice. Okay, why freedom march? Why 1 million freedom march this time? I want to quickly remind us, as a student of history, especially American history in American college here, I wasn't born in 1963, but I watched movie, I watched documentary, and I read books. And I heard that in 1963, there was a march called March on Washington. Some people call it the Great March on Washington. The Great March on Washington happened in Washington, D.C. And this march was led by no other person than late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm sure most of us have heard about that name. So this Great March on Washington took place exactly on Wednesday, August 28, 1963. What was the purpose of this march? The purpose of this march was to advocate for the civil and economic rights of African American living in the United States of America. I repeat, the Great March on Washington was led by late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Great March on Washington for freedom. For freedom, I emphasize again, the Great March on Washington for freedom, and it was led by late Dr. Martin Luther King. The purpose of the Great March was to advocate for the civil and economic rights of the African American living in that space at that time. And it was successful in the sense that at the end of the day, the African American during that period, they ended up getting almost everything that they demanded for through that Great March on Washington for freedom. So what NINAS is leading all the other groups that are seeking, crying, begging for self-determination is no different from the Great March on Washington for freedom, because we had already tagged these two as NINAS 1 million man freedom march mega rally. So we need everybody to come out, especially if you live in New York, New York City, New York State, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, Boston, Massachusetts. We need you to come out. And I'm going to roll us a little bit. If you have questions, we have numbers for you to call and ask questions on this broadcast and after this broadcast. Just to make your visit to New York City for this Freedom Man March rally to be successful and to be enjoyed. We need all hands to be on deck. So when that great March on Washington for Freedom happened in 1963, Wednesday, August 28, that was led by late Dr. Martin Luther King. They fought for human rights and they got their human rights and a lot of benefit. This human rights in America actually led to, it was adopted, right, by United Nations Human Rights. When in December 10th, 1948, the United Nations adopted the United Nations Human Rights Act of 1948. If you Google the United Nations Human Rights of 1948, that took place in Paris, France. And if you look at it under the Article 20, 21, and 22, that was what birthed self-determination. So under NINAS, the Nigerian Middle Belt, Lower Niger, as well as the Yoruba people are presently fighting for our self-determination because we want to be self-determining out of Nigeria. I'll be very happy to mention to us that in the space, in the internet space, there are a lot of videos flying around. When in 2015, President Buhari came to attend the United Nations General Assembly, and he actually made a speech supporting the self-determination of the state of Palestine and the state of South Sudan. Today, South Sudan has been self-determined. They are indigenous. They are staying on their own. So also is Palestinian. So why is the southern people of Nigeria's case should be different? Okay, we are acting according to United Nations Human Rights Act of 1948 that happened in Paris, France, exactly December 10, 1948. So I will not bore with too much story. Where we are happy to have you here, and we like to talk to you some of the things that everyone in New York, New Jersey, East Coast area that I've mentioned, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and all the states within driving it, that can do before, during the event. We need you to become mobilizers. Yes, we need you to become mobilizers, especially if you are a Christian. You need to mobilize, encourage all your church members. Tell them what is going on in Nigeria. They've seen it on news, on social media. So you need to tell them that is more than enough reason for them to come to the rally. The 1 million man march freedom rally that is taking place in front of United Nations that NINAS is organizing. Okay, we need you to join us from September 14th non-stop to September 24th. We will be out there to cry to the world and to let the world leaders know that the South people, the Southern people of Nigeria, we want our self-determination from one Nigeria that is not working for you, that is not working for me, that is not working to anybody. So we need you to take our flyer to distribute to businesses. We need you to talk to your state house of rep, your senators, your governor. We need you to talk to all your political leaders in America that the Southern people of Nigeria, we have been too long suppressed, oppressed, victimized, terrorized for too long. We need our self-determination so that they can support us in every way they can. Number two, we need you to come to the event to participate, and we need you to volunteer to support. We need you to volunteer your time in order to support the event and the people who will be coming from around the world to New York. If you are not a local New Yorker like I am, please ask questions, call us. We will tell you what you need to do if you volunteer or if you agree to be one of our volunteers. I would not want to forget the flyer that has been distributed from NINAS. If you look below, you will see a lot of hashtags. This is for us participants in the NINAS 1 million man march, freedom march, mega rally. So any picture, video you take during the rally from the beginning, day one to the end, please remember to hashtag it and put it on those handles. Don't forget, we need you to mobilize. We need to mobilize as many media outlets, as many media houses in America as possible. You can walk into your local print media, radio stations, TV station, newspaper, let them know this is where we need people most. Because this freedom march, it is organic. We need all hands on deck. These are the little things you can do on your own. Walk into your local area media broadcasters, MSNBC, ABC, Good Morning America, CNN, and so on and so forth. Give them the flyer. Let them know that something big is happening. This is the killer, guys and ladies. Print out the NINAS flyer that says all the information. Then tell them how will their broadcast, how will their media house will like and will love to be part of the media houses that will broadcast for the second time or for the first time a prototype of the Great March on Washington for Freedom. That is the killer. Just tell them that Nigerians are going to storm United Nations from September 14 to 24 in our millions. This is the second coming of the Great March on Washington for Freedom, because we have termed ours to NINAS 1 million man Freedom March mega rally. So we need you to mobilize your media houses, go to their offices, send them emails, reach them on Twitter, etc., and let them know about the event, what NINAS is needing their help for. Also, we need you to go to your churches, your mosques, African stores, African markets, restaurants, print the flyers, drop it there, encourage them to come out and march. Reach out to your lawmakers, I have said that, via email, Twitter, call them to notify them about the situation in Nigeria and how they can help. We need their help. They can't just sit down on their house and look at our race, the Igbos, the Yoruba, the Middle Belt being killed, because the Fulani government of Nigeria, what they are presently doing is ethnic cleansing. Buhari is a terrorist, is full of blood, is full in his hand, and wants to clean out all the southern people of Nigeria in order to seize their land. This is what is called genocide. The international community cannot just sit down and open their eyes and see or wait for genocide to happen or for Fulani government to clean out all of us. By God's grace, it's not going to happen. So therefore, we need you to reach out to your lawmaker via all handles, email, Facebook, Twitter. We need you to call them up and notify them about the situation in Nigeria and how they can help. The lawmakers include your senators, your congressmen and women, your governors, your mayors, your secretary of state, etc. You can tell them about the genocide that is ongoing in our country, Nigeria, and that this event is coming up, our mega rally is coming up, our 1 million Freedom Man March mega rally is coming up, and you would like them to push to have peacekeeping forces sent to Nigeria to save people. I want to reemphasize. We want you to contact your lawmakers in America to support the American government to have peacekeeping forces sent to Nigeria to save the people of the South. The lawmakers can also help to reach other nations and get them to stop providing loans to Nigeria. We want them to stop selling arms to Nigeria and ammunition. We want them to start condemning the government of Nigeria for not protecting the people and for failing to take action against those who are committing this genocide, even though they keep saying every day that they're going to take action. No Fulani bandits, no Fulani terrorists, no Fulani killers, no Fulani herdsmen, no any Miyetti Allah has been apprehended and prosecuted. Even though if they tell us that some of them have been apprehended, we have never seen any Fulani terrorists, any Fulani bandits, any Fulani herdsmen killing people of the South. We have never seen any of them being prosecuted. All Nigerian government says and does is talk, word of mouth. Rather, they are after Sunday Igboho, they are after Emeritus Professor Banji Ajikole, they are after all our agitators. They just released 10 out of 12. We need you to tell all your lawmakers to come in and help the people of the, rather than Fulani government of Nigeria, rather than them prosecuting the Fulani herdsmen, the Miyetti Allah, the Fulani bandits, rather than them doing that, they keep giving amnesty to the terrorists. Federal government, Fulani government of Nigeria continue to give amnesty to the terrorists. They do not only give amnesty to the terrorists, they put military uniform on them and they give them additional power to suppress, oppress, terrorize, kill the southern people of Nigeria. This is injustice of the highest order. This is why NINAS has come out to say 1999 Constitution is a fraud. 1999 Constitution is fraudulent. It is no longer tenable from and by the people of the South. It is no longer acceptable. 1999 Constitutions must die now. We need everybody to come on board. So therefore, also we need you to reach out to all your religious leaders in America. We need you to reach out to all human rights organizations in your local area, state, county, cities, towns. We need them to come out and support us, to understand our cause, and reach out to the media to get the words out through social media. Use it heavily. Get a Twitter account and follow NINAS _CFM. NINAS at Freedom from Nigeria. They're going to screenshot all those things. NINAS at Nigerian Lives Matter, and other Twitter handles for all the alliance blogs, the Middle Belt, the Lower Niger, and the Yoruba Nation. Is my time up? Or do I still have you?
Keep going. You're doing great. Keep going.
Thank you very much. So, if you are not a local New Yorker and you need information on hotels where to stay, if you are spending a night, 2 or more, if you drive into New York, if you don't want to drive to New York too, you can take trains, buses. New York is a convergence center. Every form of transportation. As a matter of fact, recently, an organization or a company I just launched a seaplane. If you are coming from Boston, Massachusetts to Midtown, right behind the United Nations headquarters office is the stop for the seaplane. It's faster than Amtrak. It's faster than any other form of transportation. It is not. It is aircraft, so to say, but it's sea train because it flies in the air and lands on the water. So it transports on board. So you can take sea train from Boston, Massachusetts to New York City, Manhattan, and you can take it back. You can take Amtrak from anywhere. Your stop on Amtrak is going to be the GCT, Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central Terminal to United Nations headquarters in New York is 15 minutes walk, quarter of an hour walk, okay? You can take Greyhound buses or Chinese buses from Washington, D.C. area. You can take Amtrak train, any form of transportation you can. And I want to quickly point this out that New York is absolutely safe. Every year during and after the 2 weeks of United Nations General Assembly session and debate, there is law enforcement and security personnel in every nooks and crannies of New York. And this was double, triple, and quadruple, especially since September 2011, after the terrorist hit on New York, after the terrorist hit with the plane to the Twin Towers. So New York is safe. As a matter of fact, don't even try to commit a crime. Don't even try, because you will not go scot-free. You will be caught, because there are more plainclothes security law enforcement personnel than you can see in uniform, in police squad, on mounted horses, on both East Side River, West Side River, Harlem, Upper West Side, Lower West Side, Upper East Side, financial area, Gameke. So New York, your stay in New York, you're going to enjoy it. Because in New York City, especially in United Nations East area, Times Square, Columbus Circle, Financial Center, New York is not just called a 24-hour city, it's no joke. 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in New York is the same as 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. And there are
You need
a
to be
lot of
wrapping
things
up now, Evangelist.
and do in New York. Thank you very much. If you give me the opportunity again, I'm going to roll. Thank you, Jean.
Okay, thank you so very much. That was very impassioned. I mean, the thing is, right, there's so much that we can do. That is what is so exciting to me when I think about the fact that this is one thing that all of us can get involved in, okay? And we're talking about what's going on in Nigeria. I don't know how many of you know about the ICC report that was issued in December, right, of 2020, where it said there that the Nigerian armed forces have committed crimes against humanity that rose to the level of war crimes. That's a pretty heavy statement. There is reasonable basis to believe that. And if you guys recall, Buhari made a statement once saying that President Trump, the then President Trump, asked him, why are you killing your people? He didn't say, why are your people being killed? He said, why are you killing your people? Right? And then we heard from T.Y. Danjuma talking about the fact. He was very clear that we should not trust our armed forces because they collude. If you guys listen to that video, he said that they collude. They collude and say they're here to take your land and you need to arm yourselves, right? May Lafia and tons of others have said the same thing, and we are watching it unfold. In February of this year, when we were making the point that it's Fulani herdsmen who are killing hundreds of thousands of people. And by the way, Mieti Allah said that it was revenge killings. Have you guys heard about thousands of Fulani herdsmen that have been killed anywhere? Right? He said it was revenge killings to the tune of now over 300,000 people, 400,000 people. Those are revenge killings. Right? So when we're talking about the fact that, NINAS and the other groups are talking about the fact that how come these people are not being prosecuted? El Rufai came out and said, oh, by the way, that the justice system is just moving slow. Then Buhari asked the police commissioner to release the long list of Fulani herdsmen who were being prosecuted. March, April, May, June, July, August, and we're now in September. We're still waiting for the list. That's what we have in our country. And if you think that's bad enough, yes, it's bad for people to be killed. Do you know that over 4 million have been driven from their lands? That is, their lands have been taken, over 4 million. It has been taken. They can see the people sitting on the land. For the people that have moved to an IDP camp, internally displaced people camp. Wait a minute. How can people come to your land, kill you, displace you, take your land, and the federal government does nothing but put you in squalor? How does that work? It's called apartheid. I don't know if you saw what happened towards the end of last month in Benue State, where it was like 200 and some people that they put in the IDP camps. The only covering that they were going to be living under was mosquito nettings that they put on sticks. That was their new home, while other people are occupying their land. How can you say? But remember, what does it say in the Constitution about your benefits? That's what, remember what I told you earlier. Go to chapter 2 and see all the benefits that you're supposed to have. Then go to chapter 1, section 6, subsection 6C, and see what it says. Apartheid. And I mean, like anybody looking at it, and this is why this march is really important, right? Because we're going to be out there talking about this. That's why we're talking about this to you today. So you know it, right? Because we're going to be out there talking about it, asking the world leaders, how does it make sense that intelligent people like us and our forefathers would write a constitution that would take away our own rights, give our assets to other people, allow people to come and kill us and make them repentant, right? Peaceful protesters are shot, but Boko Haram are repentant and put in the army. That's the situation that we have. But we're talking about the historic NINAS Million Man Freedom March and what we can all do. Great job, Evangelist. That was really greatly put. So now we're going to swing over to the other side of the South and bring up Eugene, who has been very instrumental in a lot of the things that we've been doing in NINAS and really passionate about mobilizing people so that they get the knowledge, which gives us the power. And then that power gives us that freedom. Make no mistake about it, my people. You need this knowledge. Our people need this knowledge. Because once they understand it, it only takes a 5-minute conversation. Do you know that? If you just lay out this couple of things about their rights, about the federation accounts, that's where they're using local government area, they're using land size, etc. Tell them about the fact that, that they have no benefits. And oh, by the way, the governors have immunity while they're in office, right? They get it immediately. They were like, oh my God, what? They said we made this. Nalayo, right? We all need to know these facts. That's how we activate our people, because at the end of the day, it's the people rising that is going to take down this apartheid. That's the way it works. So Eugene, welcome. And he's going to talk about, if you are in Timbuktu. I love that word, Timbuktu. Can you help with this march? Eugene, you are welcome.
Thank you, Jean, for having me here as we talk about this historic NINAS Million Man March, Freedom March in New York, that is happening in New York from the 14th of September to the 24th. What is really exciting is this is just not only the Alliance bloc that are coming together. The whole world is also catching on. Mm-hmm. And then as we're under the NINAS banner, everyone now is converging and joining together and to make it a successful event. Evangelist Ige really hit on the points, and I have to thank him for for making those points. And so he was talking to people in New York and surrounding areas, and in the US as a whole. But now I'm going to focus this a little bit outside, for people outside the United States, because we all have a similar opportunities as well for those people. Just as those in the US are mobilizing, those who are outside the United States also, I'm sure, can mobilize. There are so many ways they can, mobilize themselves and be a part of this historic event. They can reach out to people that they know, reach out to other people that, they have in their social media or circle of friends. They also can contribute financially. And I'm sure they have families who have not heard about this, what we're doing, and they can reach out to them, their colleagues, schoolmates, people they have on their Facebook pages or connections that they have. And also encourage those people to reach out to, to people, because the more we circulate and reach out, the better. Also, those people can reach out to their lawmakers, as well as to get them understand the plight and the support that NINAS referendum to help the indigenous people of Nigeria, to gain back their sovereignty is very, very important. As we exercise this self-determination rights, which is something that is, embedded in the international law. I'm not a lawyer, but I think so in the UN Charter. And also, For those of you outside the US who might be thinking, how can you be a part? You can come to the event if you can, volunteer time, if you can, or if you have people in New York or in the surrounding areas, get them out, inform them, and let them know that this is going on and they can come out. You can mobilize the media in your areas by going to the offices, sending them emails, reaching them out on Twitter, Facebook, or other ways that we can connect. The world is so small right now, connected with the social media, that we don't even have to put much effort to reach hundreds or if not thousands of people. If there are newspapers in your area, you can get them to publish some of the information and some of the things happening in Nigeria. Start putting pressure on world leaders. We might think there's nothing we can do, but there is a lot that we can do. You can also go to your churches and other churches that you don't even belong to, because give them flyers and also ask them to join in this, or maybe offer some financial assistance. You need to remember that the Christians are being killed. Those churches are Christians. Right now, there are there's an estimate of over 300,000 people already killed by this ethnic cleansing and religious cleansing. We must see that the Christian community and the media become very engaged. Because that's what happened when Floyd was killed. You see that the media people were so engaged into it that they were spreading that, and that's how it exploded like wildfire. Mm-hmm. And just as those in the US, you can reach out to the lawmakers. Also, I'm talking to the people in the US, you can reach out to your lawmakers. Because I remember there was one lawmaker, someone mentioned that was asking, all this is going on in Nigeria, and why are the people in the US, Nigerians in the US not raising these questions? So we need all your support, to see that this situation is handled quickly and that the terrorists are neutralized. You can tell your lawmakers about the genocide that is going on right now, and that this event coming up also. And also, as we Evangelist Ige mentioned, you can have them. I'll ask them to send peacekeeping to Nigeria to save the people, because we have no defense. The people over there are defenseless. The army is stacked up against them. It's not the army that is, or police, they are there to defend people. So, and then the lawmakers also in their influence can help to reach out to other nations who are providing loans to Nigeria to stop. And also to stop selling arms to Nigeria, because those arms are being turned against ordinary people or Christians and ethnic nationalities. And as we already seen, the Nigerian government and military is committing genocide. The other way you can also, those outside the United States can reach, is because you can also reach out to religious and human rights organizations, to come out and support us. So to understand our cause and to reach out to the media to get the word out, because the more we get out in the public through the media and all these people we are mentioning, the faster and better we can get help. Social media is where we can tell, or we can really push and use it so heavily. It is so effective, and as we all know, it can move a lot. So there are some Twitter accounts that we should be familiar with: the NINAS CFM, Freedom from Nigeria, Nigeria Christian Lives Matter, and other Twitter handles. We can also use to reach the Alliance Bloc and the Middle Belt, Lower Niger, and the Yoruba nations. Everyone should be using the posters as their profile picture from now on until October, as there are various rallies that will be going on around the world during that time. Look out for information about when and where people will be congregating at the UN offices to support the march happening in, right now that we are organizing. And I'm sure there are going to be some other marches or rallies that will be organized as the time permits. So distribute the flyers and do anything you can to support this event. Be creative. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. As you can see, like I said, you can be in Timbuktu and you can make this successful. And it's not just about the march, it's really about the movement, right? It's about the movement, because when all of us, including those at the North Pole, wherever it is that they have life on the North Pole, right? When we start putting our information in every little newspaper, everybody needs to be focused on doing that. And then you send us the information so that we can blast it out on social media from every corner of this world. You think the world leaders are not going to be paying attention? We have a great opportunity, not just again for this march, but for the movement. Christian Science Monitor, CT magazine, all the Christian, they have magazines, right? All of us know what's going on. You've got our website, it's got the information there. It's summarized there for you to pick it up. We have these sessions where we break it down into little bites so that we can get this information out. That's what's going to save us, right? And we are all freedom advocates and ambassadors. Did you know that you have the title of ambassador? Did you know that? Every single one of us. And I'm going to get a little emotional right now, because in our ancestral land, we have over 100 million people living in poverty. Are you listening to that number? Over 100 million people living in poverty. Do you want to know how many children are in that number? What is their future? Forget about the killings. What is their future? What's happening to their brain when they don't have enough nutrition? You think it's only this 300,000, 4 million people that we're talking about that's being killed? If their brains, yes, and that hunger is a gun to their brains, my people. It's not death, it's not just from what we're seeing of physical death. That is happening with hunger, but also it's intellectual death. So we that can speak must for those who cannot. Think about that young child, those young children. You've seen their pictures. Rummaging in mountains of garbage, dressed in rags, in a country where people fly private jets, have series, they have, like just the room that they have for their, foreign cars, the Maseratis, the Lamborghinis, right? And the palatial palaces that they live in. And 40 million children have no food, no adequate shelter, no education. Think about that. Because when you're freedom fighting, it is hard. The emotions just wash over me. It is hard, but I put that in my mind. I think about our future, our heritage, our ancestry, our culture. Supposed to pass on to them. What are you going to say to them? That you were defeated by cows? Is that what you're going to say? We need to think. And today is about the great things that everybody can do. So thank you very much, Eugene. That was great. And thank you very much, Evangelist. Right? We are the people. We are the power. And once that power is activated, just like during the French Revolution, where they had to yell off with their heads as they were being told, let them eat cake, right? We are in that moment. You can say, well, ours is a little bit more dire because we actually have people shooting at us, killing us, using machete, and they're getting away with it. In their case, they had abject hunger. Did you know that in the French Revolution, that they were just falling dead on the street, they were just falling dead on the street. And the noblemen in their gold gilded carriages just drove by. Isn't that what we have? South Africa. You guys remember the word shanty? Remember shanty? That's where the people lived. And then on the other side, there are those mansions with those cars and everything else. Isn't that what we have? But worse, 100 million. We took over as a poverty capital of the world from India that has over 1 billion people. We only have 200 and something. That's what governance is doing in Nigeria. The cost of governance is eating up everything and driving everyone to poverty. And do you know what poverty does? It makes us easy prey for a small army to take us down. Strategy, you guys need to be understanding the strategy that is being used against you. Knowledge is power. Power is freedom. And the people must get that knowledge so they can get the power to do what they need to do. Okay, now we're going to go into the section where we are going to be taking questions from people and comments. And Eugene, you can raise your hand and you can make a comment. You still have an opportunity to do so. So I see that Olu, you're going to have to, if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand, or you can put a question in the chat as well, and we'll try to answer it there, and then we can also bring it out here as well. But when you're going to chat, you have to make sure that your camera is on so that we can see who's speaking. Olu Wedu, the London UK mega rally has been. Are you still there, Olu? Because everyone in what Eugene was talking about is that between the 14th and the 24th, we're going to be actually marching. We're going to be in the park across from the UN for that whole time, right? But on the 14th and the 15th, we're actually going to be marching past it, right? With our banners, with our chants, telling people what's going on, right? We're also going to do that on the 24th. We're waiting to confirm when the Nigerian contingent is going to be there, and that's going to be one of the march days. Now, in the other places, in the UK, in Germany, they have UN offices. So you guys need to be looking out, because we're going to be posting, where people are going to be congregating, the day, the time, etc. Because we want people to show up there too and make it patently clear. We want peacekeeping force, right? We want them to send envoys. We want them to condemn condemn in strong terms. We saw a huge outcry when they banned Twitter. Why are we not having that same thing when people are being killed? We have to raise their awareness. We need to change that narrative, okay? So Olu, doesn't look like you're still there. I was calling you up for your question, but Eugene happens to have more of a question. You can unmute and ask your question. Just raise your hand if you want to ask a question, and we will answer that. Okay, go ahead, Eugene.
Yes, actually, what I have, it's not really a question, but I'm just want to make a suggestion. And I'm making this suggestion based on the fact that what got people's lives matter messages and rallied people around the world was because of the images that were seen on TV. Mm-hmm. So I'm suggesting that we put all these images of where they are cutting people's heads off, children's head off, helpless women and head off, and put all those together and send it to the news outlets. Just send it to them. With powerful explanation and description that this is what's going on in Nigeria, that is ongoing. If we start sending that to them, because the news outlets are not carrying it where it is visible. When CNN and other news outlets carry those things, it was so powerful. So men need to start putting those together, send it to the news outlets, and that will also get us some of the results and attention that we have been missing.
Absolutely. As we talked about, social media is very powerful, and we should have the page up and running for this Million Man March on the NINASFFN.org website, and it's going to provide you with Twitter information, email addresses, and stuff like that. And we'll also have those videos there. There was this one video that I saw that was just so barbaric. It was horrifying. They had put on rain boots and took their knives, just walking through and just hacking people into pieces. Gruesome. Gruesome. And that's just one of what happens every day, right? I mean, the US provides intelligence to Nigeria. The US came out in 2020 and said, we're providing intelligence to them about where the terrorists are going to be. Why haven't they ever stopped any of the attacks? They have the intelligence. What about the NDA? NDA. This is a military establishment. And they said that the guards fell asleep. Have you ever seen an army person fall asleep? Now, if you say police fall asleep, we say, okay, yeah, we can understand that, right? Have you ever seen an army person fall asleep? That is court-martial, right? But then all of them fell asleep. And by the way, their cameras also fell asleep. So the people fell asleep, the cameras fell asleep, and somehow these people knew exactly where the middle belt or the south officers were, down to their name, down to their room, down to where they were going to be. And they want you to believe that people fell asleep. This is what we need to be communicating, guys. There's so much information we need to be communicating this information out. We hold our destiny, our future in our hands. It's on our Twitter pages, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, right? Email, LinkedIn. It's in our hands. Pick up the phone. Call the media. Call the MPs in the UK. Send to the EU. Again, we're going to provide, a lot of links and so on and so forth on the page, which should be ready by tomorrow. So you guys can get all the information there. Just send it out. The knowledge is not just power to us. It's also power to the people who are going to be seeing it, right? And that's where you become the ambassadors. Do you know what ambassadors do? They communicate and they work with countries to see the view of that country. We're fighting for our nations. Let's be the ambassadors that will tell the world how they need to see us, what they need to know about us. Okay, Imora, your hand is up. You have a question?
Well, thank you so much for the time. There's something somebody else said earlier, which I support. And this is about getting the news outlets to really tell the story, help us tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned earlier yourself, just a short while ago, that about the gruesome video
Mm-hmm.
you had seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all seeing these gruesome things. And I know that it's so gruesome sometimes you don't want to watch them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It is what is going on. Watching people being cut with knives, tortured, just cutting them, putting cuts on their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that we can organize a thing, say here in the United States, where people volunteer and are part of a committee that they're going to be engaging continually with the news medias, the news outlets, and sending them this information, as one of us said earlier, send it into them, then let them do what they can with it. That's a suggestion that I have to make. And then the other thing that I don't know if somebody can shed any light on this, but I was reading a headline about the US trying to name the sponsors of Boko Haram and some tension. Apparently, the United States has information about this, and naming them would be a good thing. Does anybody have any information on that? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any information on that, but I do remember Melifia talking about the fact that, the leader of the, terrorists of the Boko Haram is a northern governor, right? You all heard that, right? And we've been having other information coming out about that. Even El-Rufai also had a video where he said that if Buhari said that he doesn't know where the terrorist is, that's a lie. Well, we already know that's a lie. Why? How do we know that's a lie, right? Again, this is information that we need to share. Sheikh Gami, right? Bauchi governor, Zamfara governor, El-Rufai, or whoever they sent to go negotiate to give money to the kidnappers and the bandits, they go right in there and they find them. But the Nigerian intelligence cannot find it with the help of the US and other intelligence agencies. How plausible is that? How plausible is that? So yes, we have put out there on the site, Freedom from Nigeria, for people to sign up to be freedom advocates. We want to gather everyone together so that we can have, like every week, we can have the sessions where we come together and we tweet together, right? It becomes very focused, very pointed, right? With the group that I started out with, the Nigerian Christian Lives Matter and the Save Middle to South Nigeria, that's what we did to help change that narrative about the herder-farmer conflict. We have to drive the narrative. And so we need to come together en masse, right? So get ready. Next week on the session, everyone needs to come ready to get on Twitter together. If you don't have a Twitter account, get one. And then in this meeting, we're going to dedicate 15 to 20 minutes where we're going to tweet at specific people with specific information. What do you guys say about that? Let's put our social media where our mouth is, and let's do this thing. If we do this every week, right? Sending it to world leaders, the news media, to the churches, because the church got to wake up out of their slumber. Things start to happen, right? Things really start to happen. Okay, now there was a question on here. It's like every time we have this, meetings, somebody always comes up to ask about the question. Let me see. This one says, what's NINA's position on the kidnapping and incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu by the Nigerian Authority, as well as Sunday Igboho? Also, how closely, I'm not really sure that's where that ended. What is NINA's position? Well, this is the position. If you're going to take action against someone for whatever the reason is that you're saying that they're doing something wrong, there has to be equity, right? If you're going to go after Nnamdi Kanu, you're going to go after Sunday Igboho, you have to first go after the people that are actually killing people. That should be your priority. Don't you guys think? The Fulani herdsmen, Boko Haram, they see them, they're right there. But you're running outside Nigeria, making deals with governments to nab people. You know, we're not talking about, you know, what they're doing or whatever. We're not going there, right? Because, you know, we have ideological differences in the way that, you know, Nnamdi Kanu does his thing. We do have NINAS has, you know, we're a peaceful movement. We're the intellectual movement with a plan to get us to where we're going. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that you're going to leave the people who are killing hundreds of thousands of people, taking their land. You leave them, and you go running after people who are trying to save the people from more people from being killed. Right? NINAS is saying that the people who are perpetrating the crime and those who are helping them, because, you know, in law, right? If you're an accessory to the crime, you do the time too. There's accessories to the crime. As T.Y. Danjuma said, they collude, and we see it. And we see the repentant Boko Haram participating in all these crimes. Why are they still calling them repentant and putting them in our armed forces? Right? So NINAS is saying that the people who are perpetrating crimes need to be treated. They need to be apprehended first, right? And you need to come to the table. The US, the UK, the EU has said to the Nigerian government, your people have filed a constitutional dispute and sovereignty grievances. Go and deal with that. Go and talk to your people, right? But we need to be louder now. Okay, we're not talking just about, you know, our voices or whatever. We need to be louder with our pens. You know, you guys have heard that, you know, your pen is mightier than a sword. Right now, our pen is mightier than a sword. So let's use our pens, right? So no, we don't adhere to going after people who are trying to save people from being killed. Doesn't mean that we agree with their methods or whatever. We just say, you know, all those people who are killing other people need to be addressed. That should be their priority, right? That should be a total priority. Okay, do we have any other questions or comments or words of wisdom? Or are we all on board with what we're going to be doing? So after this meeting here, you guys need to be able to make sure that all your social media profiles are changed to the Million Man Freedom March, the NINAS Million Man Freedom March. Why is that important? Anyone that sends you anything, anyone that comes to your page will see it, okay? You also need to get your Twitter account if you don't have one. For those that think, well, you know, I don't want my name out there, you don't have to have your name out there. You can make up whatever you want. Right? If you go out there, lots of NSAS, NSWAT, whatever name that you want, put it out there, right? Get on Twitter, Instagram. We had one person that sent out one video that they made based on information that Dr. Augusta had put out on why we have to shut down the 2023 election. Because, in case you guys don't know why we have to shut it down, and we're not talking about boycotting, we're talking about done. Not happening, right? The fact that it is at 99, it is that the election that gives life to the Constitution, because once they get elected, they swear to uphold it. Do you want them upholding apartheid? Do you want them upholding the hijacking of your sovereignty, your assets, inequity, no electricity? No. So we got to shut that down. Okay, we have to shut that down. So everyone needs to go change that. Everyone needs to get their Twitter account, Instagram. So she posted that. And within a short period of time, 100,000 people were talking about it. That's a social media impact. You guys do not discount that at all. That's the world that we're in. TikTok. If you know how to make TikTok videos, that's a good way to send out this information, right? So those are all things that we need to be doing. Okay, have a question here from Ekele Cam. Go ahead, you need to turn on your video and ask your question.
Well, hold on for 1 second. I think my video is on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It was on for a little bit and then it went back off.
Okay, that's me. Can see me.
Okay, you can go ahead and actually close your video
yes,
because
I
then your
wanted to
voice will be
know,
better. You can go off video, then your audio will be better.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and go
can you still hear
off.
me
In
now?
your case, go off video and your audio will be better.
Okay. Okay. I know during somebody made reference to Palestinian and the Southern Sudan during the freedom fighting presentation or advocacy by Buhari and other world leaders. And I know leaders of this group, John Garangi and the Palestinian leader, Yasser Arafat, at one point they came at the General Assembly platform and made presentation for their people. This very million man match, do we have a spot at the United Nations to speak or to even if for 5 minutes to the world leaders about this genocide going on in our country? Will that be a possibility?
Well, I can say that that's one thing that has been discussed, a while back. And as to what actually is going to happen, I'm not sure. But I know that's been in the works. So we just have to, as soon as we know, we'll obviously let you know on that. But one of the things that we are going to do is that when we're going, on our march, we are going to be reading out our proclamation, right? Because we sent it to them already. They know what it is. They're working with, they're working with NINAS and making clear our case. Thank God for social media. Thank God for the internet. The world has changed a lot. And when we're out there, people are going to be listening because we're going to be, live streaming, right? We're going to be live streaming. And we're going to have people around the globe who are going to be at the other offices, and we'll be feeding that in to where we are as well.
Yeah.
And as long as you guys are social media and really pumping that, right? All of this works together. All of it works together.
I agree, madam. What I'm saying is Tony Nadi, Professor Banji.
I heard you, and I said that. I said as soon as we have the information confirming, what the end result of that is, then we'll let you know, because that's been discussed for a bit.
Okay.
So as soon as it's just like, like as we get information, we share the information. That's why we ask everyone to provide your information, so that we can put you on the platform, so that as news happens, you get it as we get it. Okay. So that everybody is being brought along together. Okay. Stephen, you have a question.
Yes, ma'am. I heard from a reputable source on another platform this morning that the Nigerian government is now reaching out to the diasporans to break the ranks now that it's realized it cannot silence us. Are you aware of that? And can you issue a warning to all the members of this community and all others to dissuade from responding to any solicitations from the Nigerian government or anyone for that matter? If anyone wants to register their information, they should be the ones that manually go to the NINAS website or any of the other agitation websites to do the registration, not responding to any unsolicited web links.
Yeah, I really, you know what? I really hate that word agitators.
That's
because words matter.
We'll find a better term.
Yeah, because we're not secessionists.
Fighters.
We're freedom fighters, right?
Yeah, self-determination.
Agitation in the U.S. Remember when the Black Lives Matters were having their peaceful march? And they said they were thugs, right? But when it was a Caucasians, were marching, even though they were destroying things and running into people with their cars, They were protesters. Words matter. Let's just watch what we call ourselves, because agitation, sounds like a negative word, right? But freedom fighting, even though there's fighting in it, does not. Self-determinationists doesn't. Because that's what we want, our sovereignty. We want our self-determination back. We want to be able to determine what we're doing. So let's watch what we call ourselves, because those words have those connotations in people's minds, and they are so easy for them to just use that. Because agitating means that, if something is going wrong, yeah, what's going wrong is what's happening to us. What we're doing is peacefully saying, demanding, because you can demand peacefully, and we're demanding peacefully via the constitutional force majeure. They are shutting down the 2023 election because it wants to bring back that constitution that was just repudiated or rejected as the basis of the unitary Nigeria. Make no mistake, that's one good thing that you guys need to understand. Unitary Nigeria is not one Nigeria. Unitary Nigeria is less than 1/4 Nigeria, because the Southwest, remember the Western region, that was a nation. It had its own premier, it had its own constitution, they were self-governing, they were autonomous, they had charge of their assets, they had charge of who was coming into their area. They're nations, right? Eastern, Midwestern, those are nations. The Middle Belt was supposed to have been carved out, right? Under that umbrella with 4 regions, think nations, it was one Nigeria, right? Now we have unitary. So everything from all those nations have been collapsed, their assets hijacked, their people imperiled. That's unitary, not one. Because Nigeria was meant to be a multi-nation country. That is where 4 equal 1. And in this case, where 1 doesn't equal 1. Unitary does not equal one Nigeria. Multiple nations coming together, similar like the EU, you had all those independent countries and they came together, right? And Britain decided that they didn't want to be part of it and they left. That's kind of like this, that's kind of like the concept of what Nigeria was. The Western nation, the Eastern nation, the Midwestern nation, and the Northern nation. And like I said, there were others that were supposed to have been carved out as well. So when those one Nigerian that start coming to you that, you cannot, we are indissoluble, indivisible, you're like, where's the referendum? Because before you can change, right, you need referendum. You can't just use the military to bring something in and say it's, oh, look, we have, we're no longer military. No. We had separate nations. Referendum and people voting is the only way you collapse it. The military collapsed it, but once the military was leaving, they needed to go through referendum and reset it to what the people wanted. That's what we're doing right now. We are restoring one Nigeria. Granted, Sharia in the 12 contiguous states in the far north, they have already seceded from Nigeria. Did you guys know that? Because Nigeria is meant to be a secular state, no non-religion. They've adopted religion. They've got Hishba police. They've got, they're mentioned everywhere in the Constitution. You might want to check and see if your Bible shows up in there or Christianity. I can save you that. It's not. They have already seceded. So really the alliance territory, it's really the only thing that can be considered to be in Nigeria, because by introducing Sharia, they have seceded from Nigeria, which is meant to be a multi-nation union coming together to work on certain things. It was a small center, right? And it was supposed to have rotating leadership. What we have now, where are the federations? Where are they? Federal Republic, where are the federations? So unitary is not one. So let's be clear on that. Anyone have any other questions? Now,
Yes.
I'm going to give you, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to give you do's and don'ts. Yes, COVID is on. Those who are vaccinated, even now, because of that Delta variant, you still have to wear your mask. So at the rally, you need to have your mask. Security is going to be crazy. No backpacks. Okay, you can't come into that area carrying a backpack because you might get wrestled to the ground. Okay, and we're going to have all this information on the site for you guys, right? And then we're also going to have the information on the hotels and so on and so forth, right? But even people that are outside, even if you're in the UK, you can be part of our planning. Why? Because you can get on the internet and research the information, call them, get the information, and provide it. It's not just those in the US that can participate. Because those outside have been asking the question too. Yes, the internet equalizes all of us. Right? So if we need information as to, where to find, water close by, you can do that. From Nigeria, you can be part of the team, right? Send out the flyers. Send it to your friends, your family, your frenemies. Alma mater. Social organization, cultural organization, professional organizations. And this is one important thing everyone needs to understand. This is not just about, let's us just, mobilize our people, meaning Nigerians. Do you know how South Africa got its freedom? When people like Joe Biden got very emotional. Have you seen his speech? We need to make friends. We need to make friends. So this is not just about just bringing out our people. We need to bring out other people as well. Because when they start getting very emotional about it, when they start getting making strong speeches, then we know we're doing something right. Does that make sense? We need to go there. Okay, Imoro, you have another question. And then we're going to be rounding up in a few minutes here.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me another opportunity. I just wanted to answer to that issue about the name. And you're very right, words matter. Just one word can make a big difference. I have a suggestion that we call ourselves revolutionaries. That, I think, is definitely a better word than agitators. Thank you.
I think the Nigerian government has made revolution. Remember revolution? They've made that. Is it Sowore of the revolution? They've made that one a bad word too. But yes, we can be revolutionaries. Right?
Yeah, well, worldwide is not a bad word.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. The agitating thing, it's like, I don't like the agitating thing because it looks as if we're fighting. Yes, we are fighting for our freedom, but we're freedom fighters, right? We're not agitators. Hate it when they do that. Because labels, when they put those labels on you, it sticks and it changes the perception of what you're doing. And so we need to drive our own narrative. We need to make sure that the words that we're using to describe ourselves do not give people the wrong impression that others are trying to create about us already. Does that make sense? Again, Jane, I'm gonna ask everyone.
Jane. I think freedom fighting is the best for us.
Absolutely.
It's recognized by United Nations.
Also freedom advocates.
Yeah, it's recognized by United Nations in their act, and it's also in the United States of American Constitution. Okay, it's just the best. It's what has worked and worked during the revolutionary period in this country.
Absolutely.
And freedom fighting was what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, on March of Washington. So let's just stay freedom on freedom fighting. Yeah, because in American Constitution there is freedom. There's I think 9 or 11 freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of dissociation, freedom of association, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of this, freedom of that. So every American understands when you say freedom, because everybody wants freedom. You want the freedom and the liberty to yourself, as it is considered in the American Constitution and human rights. You know, freedom to be what you want to be. And so that they will be able to associate, you know, with that more than something else, which may be right, but which may be not. I mean, they'll be able to connect with that more. So, and it's already written in the official NINAS flyer that what we are out for is the NINAS 1 million man freedom march mega rally. So let's just stay on freedom. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Stephen, you have a comment, and then we're getting ready to round up. Again, guys, remember, freedom fighting requires a lot of money and funding. Okay, so there are lots. This whole thing is NINAS. NINAS is the vehicle. Think about NINAS is the jet that is going to take us off in freedom, right? But then we have to bring all these other groups into the jet, right? You've got all different groups. You've got Ilana Omodua. We've got, you know, when you look at the umbrella body, you know, we have Ilana, we've got Lower Niger, we've got the Middle Belt Forum, right? And there's all kinds of groups that come in there, right? You know, even here, you know, so, you know, a lot of groups are coming under NINAS and coming under the other, and under the blocks, because the referendum is actually going to happen by block, right? So while NINAS is bringing all of us together so that we can have that mass to get our freedom, each block has to do its own thing, right? The Western region had its own constitution. Eastern, its own constitution, separate from the Western. Midwestern, its own separate constitution. The North had its own separate constitution, right? So, because that's what I'm saying, they're functioning as a nation, right? But we're coming together, right? And we have different, you know, lots of different groups who are coming together, both in the, you know, in the Yoruba nation, in the Lower Niger, which is the Southeast and the South, and the Middle Belt. Tons of ethnic nationalities. And some of the questions that people are going to ask you is like, well, what about all those little ethnic nationalities? How did they ensure that they have equal say, right? That their voices are heard? I don't know how many of you have heard about the Charter of Relationships. In the Yoruba land, in the Southwest, that's a homogeneous group. But when you look at the number of ethnic nationalities in the Middle Belt, it's crazy, right? So you need a Charter of Relationship, which is being worked right now, that lays out how everyone gets to interact. Okay, Stephen, your question, and then we are going to be wrapping up. But again, freedom takes money, so please, you need to contribute to this rally, because we have to do live streaming, we gotta provide water, there are permits, you know, all kinds of things that we have to get ready. So, you know, let's support the cause. Stephen, over to you.
I think my original question was not answered. It was lost in the discussion of our proper name.
Okay, what was the initial question?
My original question was whether or not you are aware that the Fulani Republic is trying to break the ranks of the diaspora with an unsolicited registration. And if you will advise this community against. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, they've had various incursions and different things that have been coming out, but you can be safe. Go to NINASFFN.org. That's where you get the information, right? And then you've got the freedomfromnigeria.com. There's valid information there. Then you've got the different blocks, you know, and the different groups also have valid information, and all of their information should bring you to that one petition, right? So they have links that should bring you. If it takes you to someplace else and not NINASFFN.org, you've gone to the wrong place, pretty much, right? And you guys, I'm sure you guys saw that once NINAS announced in the papers that, you know, we were going to be doing this, the Nigerian government now sent, is it Gambari, and whatever, they want to storm the UN, right? But one of the things that this whole thing that we're doing and the march and all the, you know, what the work that the freedom advocates and freedom fighters have been doing is not staying silent. The more we speak, the more of us speak as we activate the NINAS, you know, NINAS activating people power. You can't put it back in that bottle, because once you take the cork off, you know, like the force of it, we're on the precipice of having our information go exponential. We're very close. Very, very close. And so always make sure that you look to see where the link is leading you to. Because right now there's a lot of information out there too about, you know, support. You can get 10,000 Naira if you support, you know, a presidential candidate. I saw one for like a ticket. You know, but that you have to bring other people on board. You have to do this and that. And then they forget you for another 4 years in their private jets, their Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, their cobbled streets that make up their home, right? 1,000 Naira every 4 years. 10,000 Naira every 4 years. They're telling you that your benefits is only worth 2,500 Naira a year. Who can survive on that? Knowledge is power, and power is freedom. Okay. So guys, the other question comes up is a generic message to disseminate to the lawmakers. Yes, that's what I was talking about. The website should be ready tomorrow. So you'll have letters, you'll have all that information. We've got people who are writing letters, they're being reviewed right now so that you can have generic information that you can utilize. We're also going to have the links to, you know, email addresses, fax numbers, and things like that, Twitter information. All of that is going to be out there, right? So freedom advocates, we all become freedom advocates. So we have a place to go. You're going to have videos there that you can that you can use, right? So we're kind of collating all of that under the NINAS Million Man Freedom March, but you're going to have that information over there. Okay, so you can be as lazy as you want. All you have to do is just go nab it and send it. Right, gonna make it real easy. Okay, so looks like we don't have any other questions, right? But again, you have to when you come in, if you're coming in, because we've got people flying in from around the world, right? We're gonna have some information, directions, etc., you know, on the website. But really, you know how it is, you know, with your GPS, point A to point B, it takes you there. We're going to have some suggestions for hotels, because now is a good time to go ahead and book all of that. We're asking people to really, there's some key days, right? The 14th and the 15th, okay? We want a show of force in our numbers, right? The 24th, which is the end of when we're going to be there, we want to show a force. And then whatever day, like the Nigerian contingent is going to be there, as soon as we fix that, we'll be there in numbers, okay? So please make plans to come out, ask your friends to come out, ask your family to come out, ask those who are non-Nigerian organizations to come out and tell them to bring their banner. We want to see their banners of who they are supporting us. And then we have, for those in the US too, we've got the Black Caucus coming up on between the 15th and the 19th. And we're gonna have information for you on how you reach out to them, right? You're gonna reach out to them and get invited to the receptions. So as many of us can get ourselves into those receptions so that we can physically speak to them, and make sure you take lots of pictures. Any congressional person, snap, right? And let them understand. And we're going to have these little cards that you can print out and take with you as well, okay? Because while we're in New York on the 18th and the 19th, we're not going to be in the park. We're actually going to be in Times Square on the 18th, talking to people, being ambassadors of our message. On the 19th, we're going to be in Columbus Circle. All of that information is going to be out there as to how to get there, timing, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then the rest of the time to be in the park.
Do you also want to remind people about Good Morning America if we eventually get that slot?
Sorry, say that again.
You want to remind people about Good Morning America, or should I tell them if we eventually get that?
Right. So we're working on, that was a great idea that Evangelist has come up with, because, Good Morning America, they're going to pan the thing, they'll have a segment. So we're going to ask them to, carry a segment of our information, and then, and if not, so that we'll be there so that we can have our signs and so on and so forth, be part of the people that get, shown as well, right? So those are the kinds of things that we need to be doing, okay? Every newspaper, every magazine where you are is important. Get our information in this. Just send them the flyer. Tell them to go to our website so that they can publish what our grievances are, okay? Let everybody do that. And we're gonna have, like I said, we're gonna have that page on the ninasffn.org, and some of the other groups as well will have that information for you. All righty. I think this has been a great meeting. Everyone asked some great questions, and I saw that people were really engaged. Now is a time for action. The time is now set for action, okay? And like I said previously, the whole purpose of this process is to give knowledge, which drives our power, which gives us our freedom, to let us know that all of us, doesn't matter where we are, in Nigeria, Africa, Asia, South America, right? Doesn't matter where you are part of the movement. So let's get engaged and let's speak for those 100 million people who are unable to, because they're being starved to death. Okay? Okay, thank you very much, Evangelist, did a great job. Thank you very much, Eugene. We're going to be signing off right now, but we are always here, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is usually 7 p.m. in Nigeria every Saturday. We're breaking down the information. We're getting people energized and really getting the information so that they can share it out. Next, remember, everyone come ready with your Twitter accounts, because we're going to get into Twitter and we're going to tweet. We're going to have specific messaging that we're going to tweet out. All right. Okay, then thank you all very much, and do have a wonderful weekend. You guys can unmute. We're going to close down in like 3 minutes. So if you want to say hello to each other, that is fine. Hello, Honorable Ogaraku. You're welcome. Donald, you're welcome. Judith, you are welcome. Johnny, thank you very much for being here. And any information that you guys have that you can provide to us is actually appreciated. Like the media contacts that you have, religious contacts, if you're shy and don't know how to follow up, just send it to us, freedomfromnigeria@gmail.com. Very simple, freedomfromnigeria@gmail. freedomfromnigeria@gmail. freedomfromnigeria.com, right? Very simple.
Jean, it's also necessary to let everybody here and everybody watching us online that are media people, that especially those who will not be there physically for those 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
But that would love to extend, or that would love to stream our program live, so that they can so that we can give them access and the media.
Right. You guys need to send us the information, all the media. We want it everywhere, including Timbuktu. Yeah, we want it everywhere. Slovenia, we want it showing there. Czechoslovakia, right? Tibet, we want it there. Alaska, where there's only
Hawaii.
Honey, yeah, I'm talking about the small places. Everybody wants to go to those. New Zealand, Australia, I want to be there. It doesn't matter. Get our information into those places, into the media, into the, whether it's the TV or radio or print or their social media, get our information out. And don't forget the Nigerian media. Let them print our information as well. Okay, so again, thank you all very much, and we are shutting down in 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.